What's going on, guys? Our student trains are back with another video. And I've seen a few videos recently about the new MTH Gs-4s and big boys, and the new run right now is the 2020 release. And in this video I'm just going to be talking about why me personally it doesn't make sense and I'm not interested in buying any of these models. That's not to say that these models aren't very impressive, nice models, because they definitely are. They definitely have features that are pretty cool. There are definitely some negative factors that I'm going to be getting into in this video. I've watched many reviews of them on YouTube, and I've sort of put together my case here on why, for me personally, it just wouldn't be a good buy on either of these locomotives. So I'm going to be starting off with the MTH Big Boy, and as some of you may know, this is a later release of the Big Boy. I think we're probably 4, 5, 6 releases in. The MTH Big Boys came out pretty early on in MTH. I think it was probably sort of 28 to 2010, somewhere in there, that they released their first Big Boy. And for the most part, the first run were actually pretty good. As it sort of went on over time, nothing too much has changed. In the newest run, they obviously have the smoking whistle, which is a very cool, sort of a gimmick, I would call it, but it is very cool nonetheless. Obviously, the smoking, it's best in HO scale. I've already sort of covered that on this channel. I don't think any smoky in HO scale rivals the MTH one. It's just the best. But that being said, some things have changed on the newest run of MTH Big Boy. The one thing I noticed that has changed is the drawbar situation. In the last run of MTH Big Boy, so I guess probably about the 2018 run, the drawbar was pretty long and the deck plate would just barely touch. And it was that freakishly large gap the MTH is sort of known for to be compatible with the 18-inch radius. So that looks really good on their boxes. But in the 2018 version of the Big Boy, they included a shorter drawbar that was just a swap-in. There was no soldering involved. You just pull the old one off and then push the new one in, and it would shorten the distance. It would make it look pretty good. Not 100%, but make it look much better than the stock drawbar. In the new one, I don't think it comes with a bigger or shorter drawbar, and the deck plate doesn't even touch, apparently, which would be a big problem for me just because I'm sort of, I'm a freelance modeler for sure. I don't really care if it's super accurate. Some of the details are off, that's fine with me, but if it's something that makes the engine look weird in appearance, that's something I just really can't handle, and I would have to be able to fix it, and I don't think at the moment there's a fix for this drawbar issue. I could be wrong, but I have done my homework on this, and I don't think there's a way to fix that. So that's number one. Number two, it wouldn't make sense. I'm sort of going over the negatives of the model right now, which are most of the reasons why I wouldn't get it. I'm also going to get into why it wouldn't make sense personally for me at the very end of the Big Boy section. But anyways, the next reason I wouldn't be interested in buying it is the tender. Not specifically the detail or anything, but the sound. The baffling they used in the tender makes a really weird sort of tinny sound. When you blow the whistle, it shakes the tender, and it sounds awful, actually. I think this happened in the 2018 model, if I can remember. I actually have a 2018 model of the Big Boy sitting right here, and the old run of the 2008 MTH Gs-4. So I have both of them sitting right here, and I'm just sort of thinking about the problems I had when I got the 2018 one, and that tender rattling was definitely a problem. But you can turn the volume down, but that definitely is a problem on the newest Big Boy. One thing I have to add about the MTH Big Boy is even on this run I think I have right now, there are some bigger detail parts that are missing, like the dynamo, and there are some parts that are just sort of wrong for the Big Boy. Not to say they don't look good, but they are wrong. So that's sort of my final reason not to get the MTH Big Boy, the newest run for me anyways. So I think that sort of concludes why I personally wouldn't be getting the MTH Big Boy. For the things wrong with the model. For me, honestly, I have an MTH Big Boy, so and the smoking whistle is really the only thing that they've added, and for me it sort of seems like they've just taken away things. So that's the reason why I wouldn't be getting the MTH Big Boy. So I'm going to be moving on to the Gs-4, and personally I like the Gs-4s more than I like Big Boys. It's just a personal preference of liking a certain locomotive better than the other kind. So for me, one of the biggest problems with the newest MTH Gs-4 is again the drawbar and the distance between the locomotive and the tender. So on this YouTube channel, I have done a modification to my Gs-4 where I actually get a shorter drawbar and install that. It requires taking the locomotive apart, soldering. It's a bit of a project, but if you know how to solder, you're probably good. But that being said, the new MTH Gs4s, the little deck plate on the top doesn't actually touch the tender. That is the case on the older runs of all the Gs4s, but just the fact that it gets hard, they've made it definitely harder to swap it out for yourself and modify the Gs4. So the distance would definitely be bugging me. I have seen on the Gs4s that there are problems with the motor control. Speed steps 1 through 3 can be very jerky. I've seen a few videos of this. I know this is a problem. I haven't seen a fix. Most people have said they've just sent them back and gotten new models. It does seem like a problem with the current run. So sort of that's a big problem in itself. The only other thing I can really think of is the wrong detail parts, like the silver. Basically everything that's supposed to be black, like handrails and ladders, are silver for some reason. I don't know why they did that. Sort of seems like it'd be easier just to make them out of black instead of silver, but I don't know. But whatever happened, it's a pretty easy fix. Again, it would bug me though. Again, the lead truck and the trailing truck I think are silver instead of black. That does stand out a little bit on a model, but again, it's not something that's sort of a deal breaker, but it is definitely off. So yeah, another problem with the MTH Big Boy I've seen is that the pulling power is very bad when you get the locomotive. And I haven't seen too many reports of this actually. It's only been a few YouTubers that have made videos on it. Apparently the drive springs are probably too stiff. I know this was a problem on the Athearn MT4s a while ago, that the springs were too stiff and it wasn't allowing the traction tires, the set of drivers of the traction tires to actually touch the tracks. The springs were so stiff it would actually lift them up. So I guess that is a current problem on the MTH Gs4. The only way I've seen someone fix this so far is removing the springs and actually drummelling out part of the chassis, which is definitely a pretty big project, especially on a brand new $450 locomotive. Probably a certain locomotive surgery I would be comfortable with doing personally, but for a lot of people I know that would be something that would be a complete no-no. Just because if you mess that up, it's pretty much game over. You have to throw away the locomotive and restart, and that's definitely not an option when you're on a budget, or if you're a kid that you don't make a lot of money. That's just not an option. So yeah, that sort of wraps up why I personally wouldn't be getting the MTH Gs4 apart from actually having one. I do prefer the current paint scheme I have right now, which is the BNSF 2001 Employee Special. This paint scheme represents sort of a modern war baby scheme, sort of a war baby. Some purists would probably argue that it's not really a war baby, but it is the black paint scheme that they used during World War II. And it is modern, so it sort of runs with the excursion theme that I like using on my model railway. And I will show you guys that now. This is what the 2001 BNSF Employee Special looks like, and this is the MTH Big Boy I have. This is the 2018 run, this is the 2008 run. So basically, to wrap the video up, the biggest reasons I wouldn't be getting the newest models is that they are plagued with some problems that are definitely some game changers, it would deter a lot of people away from the models typically. Another reason is I have the models. And the third reason is that nothing really has changed too much. The molding is all the same. The only thing that's really been upgraded in the locomotives is the steaming whistle. And I'm not saying that isn't a really cool feature. I really like that feature. It is definitely much better than the Broadway Limited smoking whistle. It is really cool. It is so tempting to get one of these locomotives simply for the smoking whistle, but the negatives outweigh it. A smoking whistle is not worth $450 worth of problems and having to fix the locomotive. So that is my conclusion. So anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you guys want more videos like these, please put them down in the comments. I really like your suggestions. Running videos of my locomotives, more layout updates. I can do other things on this channel. Just please leave them down in the comments. I'd be really happy to make videos for you guys. So anyways, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video.